I hope we do too.
It is my hope that what you see today, you will treasure in your heart forever. Karibuni haraka, nidhamu ya wanyama wa porini. Welcome to Karachi Wildlife.
Fill all the available space, please. Campus spaces move all the way forward, filling it in.
Go left to right, both docks are open, left to right.
Left to right.
Go left, you're pressing, you're pressing.
Left to right.
Left and right, both docks
I'm also going to try to like... Doors closed.
Asante Sana word in now, as we say here in Harambe, Twende means let's go. Alright, well jumbo everyone, my name is Ness. I'm going to be your safari guide here on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Now in order to have a super fun, super safe safari, we're just going to go over a couple things. I'm going to ask that we please remain seated at all times. Make sure to keep our hands, arms, feet, legs inside the truck at all times. And hang on to any loose items you have, like cameras, cell phones, hats, or glasses. It is going to be a very bumpy ride out here, and I'm unable to stop to retrieve any fallen items. And if you take a look above your heads, you might see that animal spotting guide. Now, this gives you a pretty good idea of the animals we're going to see out here in the reserve today. Probably not going to see all of them due to migration patterns, but I'm going to try my very best to find as many of those animals as I possibly can for you. Now make sure you have those cameras out and ready, because we are starting our little adventure off here in the Little Aturi Forest. It's home to very reclusive animals that tend to stay back amongst the trees and bushes, so keep your eyes peeled. Looks like you've already found the okapi if you take a look over on the right. And the okapi has stripy legs, very similar to a zebra, but he's actually the only known living relative of a giraffe. They have a very similar skeletal structure. Now, the okapi is so shy, Western researchers did not discover him until about 1901. So very shy animal back there. Pretty cool we got to see him out and about. Now as we round this bend, you might see a greater kudu at the very top of the hill up ahead. Now the greater kudu are one of the tallest antelope in Africa. They can get to about 55 inches tall, just at the shoulder. And we can tell these are female kudu because they do not have any horns. Males would have very long, twisted horns reaching about 6 feet in length. And I found something pretty cool down here on the left, guys. Take a look. It's a black rhino. Definitely an animal that is more active and more social at night. Tends to be very solitary during the day. The black rhino can charge up to a speed of about 35 miles per hour. Now, unfortunately, due to poaching, there are less than 5,000 black rhinos left in the whole world. So pretty lucky we got to see that guy today. Now, here on the right, you might see some bongos. Now, the bongos have a nickname. Their nickname is the ghost of the forest. And that's because, as you can see, they kind of like to stay back in the depths of the forest to try to blend in with their surroundings. Now, unlike the greater kudu, both the male and the female bongos will have horns. You can see those horns kind of lean back against their head, as they don't get tangled in any of the brush when they run away from predators. Now, as we head deeper and deeper into the forest, we're eventually going to run into the Safi River. So the Safi River is just up here on the forest edge, and it's home to animals that like to live in or around the water. So let's take a look over here and see what we can find. Once we get down there, I especially want you to look for any bubbles or any shapes in the water, because it could possibly be a Nile hippopotamus. Now, hippos do spend most of their time in the water. If they didn't, their large bodies would eventually overheat. Only real time will come out of the water is in search of food. They'll usually do this at night so they don't get sunburnt. Sometimes they'll walk upwards of about 6 miles at night looking for food. They are herbivores, so they have a diet of mainly grass, but although this is the case, they're still labeled one of the most dangerous animals in Africa. It's because they are extremely territorial. Oh wow, take a look here on the left, there's a whole group of them. Yeah, now a group of hippos is called a bloat, so we found a whole bloat of these Nile hippopotamus. Also looks like we've come across some pink-backed pelicans. The pink-backed pelicans get their name because, well, feathers on their back will turn pink during mating season. Now, contrary to popular belief, they don't use their feather pouches to carry fish as a snack for later, but they use it more as a net. So they'll catch the fish, squeeze out all the water, and pretty much swallow them immediately. As we head around this corner, my friends, keep on looking to the left, because it looks like we've come across some Nile crocodile. Now the Nile crocodile have an extremely powerful jaw, strong enough to break the bones of their prey in one single bite. Now a crocodile can be about as long as a giraffe is tall. Now, their diet consists mainly of fish, but they are known to try and eat pretty much anything that'll dare cross their path. It's a very dangerous, very aggressive animal. Now they can be gentle, but only when it comes to their babies. If their babies have trouble hatching from their eggs, they will roll those eggs gently in their mouths to help them hatch. Now as we head up this hill, we're going to be heading toward an entirely different ecosystem. We are entering the savanna. It is the largest part here on the reserve. It's home to quite a variety of different migratory animals. It's also home to quite a bit of different vegetation, like the baobab tree, which we are passing by just up here on the right. The baobab tree is also known as the upside-down tree. It's because it kind of looks like its roots are sticking up in the air, but those aren't its branches. It's just leafless up to about 9 months out of the year. Now here it is, my friends, in my opinion, the most beautiful view here on the reserve. Gives you a really nice overlook of the Serengeti grasslands, which is just the start of the savanna. Looks like we can already spot some pretty cool animals roaming around. Don't you worry, we are going to get nice and close to each and every one of them, because we're lucky enough to be able to drive right through these grasslands. Now, right off the bat, we've definitely found a couple giraffes hanging out here, just beneath the trees. These are Maasai giraffe. And we can tell they are Maasai giraffes because of their pattern. They've got dark, kind of jagged spots. It's actually going to be a baby and a full-grown adult. It's probably mom and her baby over there. Pretty cool. Baby giraffes are born at around 6 feet tall. Adults will grow up to about 18 to 20 feet tall. Just the giraffe's heart can weigh about 25 pounds. They're a really large animal, tallest animal in the whole world. Looks like we're getting much closer to some more giraffes up ahead. In the meantime, though, we are going to be heading by an area on the left where every now and then there are sightings of some different predators, such as the African wild dogs. The African wild dogs are also known as painted dogs because of the beautiful markings on their coats. The markings are unique to each dog. It's actually how they tell each other apart, even from great distances away. If you look way against the back wall there, you're going to see them sleeping. Kind of blended in pretty well. Now these painted dogs are one of the most successful hunters here in Africa. It's because they'll hunt in large packs, and they will chase and chase and chase their prey until their prey becomes exhausted and collapses. So they look cute and cuddly, but really they're one of the most aggressive and vicious animals here in Africa, so you definitely want to keep our distance. Now along with some more giraffe here on the left, you're also going to see some sable antelope laying down. The sable antelope are the official emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Use those long curved horns in self-defense and to scare off any predators from jumping on their backs. Really good look at that giraffe right there. There's gonna be another little baby right over here. Now up here we're going to be passing by several termite mountains. These are made out of termite, saliva, dung, and mud. Large animals use the tall ones as a scratching post. They will eventually wear down over time, and smaller antelope use the worn down termite mounds or as a lookout post. So we'll hop right up on the top of them to look out for any predators around. So we found another giraffe here on the left. Now, a group of giraffes is called a tower, so we found a whole tower of these Maasai giraffes out and about today. Now, giraffes have about an 18-inch long tongue. helps them grab the leaves from trees. The tongue is also prehensile, meaning finger-like. The tongue is also dark in color to help it prevent it from getting sunburnt throughout the day, since giraffes do spend about 16 to 20 hours of their day eating. It doesn't leave much time for sleeping, so giraffe will only sleep about 30 minutes a day. It's pretty crazy, right? They'll split that up into about 5-minute increments, so it's kind of like taking a whole bunch of power naps all day. Now, it looks like we're going to have a lot to talk about up ahead here. Now, right off the bat, there's going to be a tan-colored antelope hanging out by these termite mounds. That's going to be a Patterson's eland. The Patterson's eland are the largest antelope in all of Africa. Males will get to about 6 feet tall at the shoulder and weigh 2,000 pounds. Although they can get this large, they're still able to jump straight up in the air about 8 feet high from a standing position. Pretty impressive for what some weighing 2,000 pounds. This is going to be a female though, so she's not quite that large. We're also going to see a herd of white-bearded wildebeest, these large dark gray animals. The white-bearded wildebeest are also known as gnu, that is spelled G-N-U. Get that name because of the grunting sound they make. Best known for the very large and far migrations in very densely packed herds. Actually responsible for the largest migration pattern in the whole world. It's a baby Patterson's eland close to us here, so that must have been her mom back there. Now you might also see those little guys at the very top of the hill. Those are springbok. Now springbok get their name because of their ability to spring up to about 6 feet repeatedly in the air when alarmed or excited. They can also run up to speeds of about 50 miles per hour. This makes them among the top 10 fastest land mammals in the whole world. Because of this, they're actually the mascot of a lot of different South African sports teams. And they are fully grown. Springbok are just really small, only get to about 2 to 3 feet tall. Now you might also see these cattle with the really long horns. Those are the Yankole cattle. They're also known as Watusi cattle because of the Watusi tribe that domesticated them. Makes them the only domesticated animal here on the reserve. Those long horns are a lot lighter than they appear, mostly hollow, with a honeycomb type pattern inside. Helps their blood flow through, regulates their body temperatures, acting kind of as a cooling system. Now over here it looks like there has been some trees that have been knocked down. And the only animal I can think of big enough to knock down trees is an elephant. So I have a feeling you might see some elephants pretty soon. Let's keep on looking. Oh, you know what? I think I see one straight ahead. So we are going to get a nice look at that elephant in just a moment. We're also going to be passing by Monkey Point here on the left, which gets its name because there's a troop of mandrill that hang out here every now and then. Mandrill are very shy though, so they could be hiding in the bushes. The largest monkeys in the world can weigh upwards of 100 pounds. If you guys have ever seen The Lion King, Rafiki is actually a mandrill, so that gives you a pretty good idea of what they look like. They'll have that bright blue face, just like Rafiki. There's a pretty good view of this African elephant over here. Looks to be a young male African elephant. Male elephants tend to go off on their own. They're a lot less social than females. Sometimes they'll even stick with very small bachelor pods. To compare, female elephants like to stay in very large herds with other females and their babies. Well, it looks like the road I normally take is closed. Looks like the rains have completely washed our path away. But that's alright, it looks like the Wardens have set up a pretty nice detour for us to take, and I like exploring new places, discovering new things, so let's check it out. What could go wrong, right? Oh well, it looks like we've found a pretty old bridge, but no worries, Hakuna Matata, I'll just take it pulley-pulley. It means very slowly, I'm sure everything will be just fine. I will admit it does not make the best sounds, does it? Whoa! Oh, hold on guys, hold on! Okay, let's get off this bridge now. Looks like we made it. Is everyone okay back there? Looks like we still got everyone. That was a close one. If you take a look down here on the right, you might see this red clay. Elephants love to eat this red clay to get the minerals from it. It's almost like a vitamin to them. In fact, I'm seeing some tusk marks in the red clay. Even seeing some footprints here in the mud. It looks to me like a whole elephant herd has been through here. Let's see if we can find them. Wow, and sure enough, there's one. Couldn't have gone better for fun. Now, elephants have a gestation period of about 22 months. This means mom is pregnant with her baby for 22 months long. That's a pretty long pregnancy. Now, once those babies are born, they're born at around 300 pounds. They'll stay with mom till they get to about 13 to 15 years old. Oh my goodness, and there's a baby up ahead. We've definitely found the whole herd, guys. Take a look.
See the elephant.
Now, judging by that little one's size, I bet she's around a year old. She probably already weighs over 1,500 pounds. Yeah, pretty big baby, huh? Now, you might see the elephants flapping their ears back and forth. This is how they cool themselves off. Elephants have really, really sensitive skin, so sometimes you'll even see them throwing dirt and mud on their back. This acts kind of as a natural sunblock. So that's how they protect their sensitive skin. Now, it looks like they've migrated to this area because of the watering hole up ahead. It's a perfect place for elephants to migrate to, because not only can they come through to get a drink of water, but elephants love to play in the water. So they can even hop in, splash around, utilize it kind of as a swimming pool. Now, over here, it looks like we've come across some flamingos. These are the greater flamingos, which are the lightest pink but tallest of all the flamingo species. Flamingos are born gray. They get their beautiful pink coloring from the brine shrimp that they eat and any other kind of crustacean that contains beta-carotene. Now, a group of flamingos is called a flamboyance, so you found a whole flamboyance of flamingos out and about today. Pretty cool. I am really happy we got to see that whole elephant herd back there. Elephants are becoming more and more of a rare sight to see due to poaching. They're being poached for their beautiful ivory tusks. In fact, we're losing about 96 elephants a day due to poaching. It's a really big number. And because of this, wildlife preserves such as this one will have wardens that will look out for any poachers to keep it a nice safe place for different animals to migrate through. Looks like our wardens have captured the poachers, confiscated the elephant tusks and rhino horns. It's a really great thing they caught those bad guys. Now, over here we found some zebras and some rhinos. Now, these are the Grants or Plains zebras, to be more specific. Their stripes are unique to each of them, kind of like our fingerprints are unique to each of us. They actually have a kick powerful enough to break the jaw of a lion. So really strong, really powerful. Don't want to mess with a zebra, they will definitely fight back.
Always watching, always watching.
Now let's take a closer look at these rhinos up ahead. Now these are the white rhinos. They don't get their name from their coloring. They get their name from the mistranslation of the word vite in Afrikaans. Vite means wide. It refers to their wide, broad mouths they use for grazing. You can see they're very similar in color to the black rhino we saw earlier. The main way you can tell the difference is going to be their size. So the black rhino we saw in the forest is about 3,000 pounds. These white rhinos get upwards of 5,000 pounds. Might also see they're kind of covered in mud. That's because rhinos love to roll around in mud. Cools them off, protects their skin from the sun, and even acts as a form of bug spray, so it helps them get the bugs off. Now we're heading through cheetah territory. Cheetahs are really good at blending in with their surroundings. They have really great camouflage. I think I do spot a couple up ahead. So if you look straight in the back, you might see a couple of them laying down just under the leaves there. Now, cheetahs can run up to speeds of about 65 miles per hour. Makes them the fastest land animal in the whole world. Can reach that speed in a matter of 3 seconds. Now, they're the only felines that have non-retractable claws. That's because it helps them grip into the earth when they make those sprints. They're the only big cat that has the ability to purr. Oh, now speaking of big cats, looks like we've come across a kopie, large rock formation where lions like to hang out, because it gives them a great vantage point to look out for their prey. And it looks like we've already found the lion right there. That is going to be a male, you can tell by his mane. We'll head to the other side, might be able to get a better look at his face. Now, lions are inactive about 20 hours of the day. He's showing us a pretty great example of that right now. Definitely more active at nighttime. That's even when they do their hunting. Now, the females will do most of the hunting. Males will stay back to watch the territory and the rest of the pride. let's see if we can get a better look at him over here. I think I see a female lioness over here as well. See, she's laying down pretty flat underneath the trees there. Now, since lions are more active at nighttime, they have about 6 times greater night vision than we do. Not the same vision as us during the day. Big yawn. They also have padded paws. Their padded paws help them sneak up on their prey. Gives them great traction when they run and jump. Now, a full lion's roar can be heard up to about 5 miles away, which I think is pretty impressive, right? They can get pretty loud. If you look here on the left, you might see these burrows in the ground. These are from warthogs, and there's 2 sleepy warthogs just up there next to the tree. So warthogs are the largest burrowing animal in the world. Once they dig these burrows, they'll back themselves into them with their razor-sharp tusks pointing out. That's to scare off any predators they have. If you take a look down here on your right, you might see a big pile of eggs. Those are ostrich eggs. So a couple ostrich must have been running around here earlier and laid those there. Those eggs will weigh about 3 pounds, and if a full-grown man were to stand on them, they still would not break. So ostrich eggs are really tough. And ostrich are a flightless bird, but they still make use of their wings. Use their wings to change direction when they run. They can reach speeds of around 35 to 40 miles per hour. Makes them the fastest 2-legged animal in the world. Now we are heading out of the savannah and into the Magadi Glen. The Magadi Glen is the newest expansion here on the reserve. So let's take a good look around, see if there's anything hanging out here today. Oh, you know what? I did find a couple yellow-billed storks up here on the right. The yellow-billed storks are a carnivorous bird. They will eat frogs, snakes, lizards, fish. Sometimes they'll even eat smaller birds. Basically anything they can fit into their bills. Have a wingspan of about 5 feet across, and they mate for life, which I think is pretty cute. Alright, my friends, now as we head around the corner and through the gates up ahead, this is unfortunately going to bring us back to the village. Pretty sad, but you know what? We got to see lots of cool animals here today on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Now, Harambe is Swahili for come together. So here in Harambe, we like to come together and promote harmony with the animals. Now, one way our researchers are showing a really great example of that is the elephants here in Africa were taking crops from farmers' lands. Farmers are getting pretty upset about this and harming the elephants. So our researchers discovered elephants are afraid of bees. They then created something called beehive fences. It means they'll put beehives all around a farmer's land and it keeps the elephants out. It's kind of a win-win situation because elephants are no longer getting harmed by farmers, and farmers have now gained a new crop that they can sell, which is honey. Now we can do our part to live in harmony with the animals simply by reducing, reusing, and recycling. This really helps out the environment, my friends, and in turn helps out these animals as well. I mean, we are sharing this planet with them after all. Now, I will be dropping you guys off the nearest woods post. Now's a pretty good time to check around your feet, check around your seat, just make sure we didn't drop anything, or make sure nothing fell out of those pockets. It was a pretty bumpy ride after all, and I would hate for you guys to leave something behind. It is a long way back here to Africa after all. If I have any wilderness explorers on board, you were riding the Simba 1. It's the name of my truck, spelled S-I-M-B-A and the number 1. Now it looks like we're heading up to the dock, but here at Harambe we do not like to say goodbye. It's really sad, far too final. Instead we use the Swahili phrase Kwaherini, and that means go well. So Kwaherini, my friends, thank you guys so much for choosing Kilimanjaro safaris, because when it comes to safaris, they go wild. Holding.